Hey everyone, welcome to Tony for Bend to My Will Demon. Tony for you. There are a ton of demons across the Abrahamic religious canon, but sadly there isn't much information about a lot of them. From horse-headed fire mages to beautiful camel-riding women, they draw your attention like no other. A great many of these demons can be found in the ancient grimoire known as the Lesser Key of Solomon, or Ars Goetia. Within these pages holds the information on and means to summon a total of 72 demons. Each of these demons has great power, and they were subjugated to serve the wisest king to ever live, Solomon, in creating the first temple of Israel. Much time has passed since then, and maybe their power is still up for grabs to any up-and-coming summoner. It's no surprise now that a good amount of them have made their way to a franchise known for its demons, Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. While I would love to discuss all of them, since there are so many in the book, I'll be sticking to just a few of my favorites and the ones that appear in Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. There's still plenty to go over, so without any further ado, let's discuss the demons of the Ars Goetia. First and foremost, let's get a few things out of the way. Each of these demons, no matter how strange, silly, or small they look, all hold positions of power in hell and lead legions of demons and spirits under the Dark Lord Lucifer's army. Whether they seem nice and trustworthy at first, they have power beyond mortal comprehension. They can and will destroy your soul if given the chance. In fact, I would say the ones that seem aggressive and intimidating at first are the ones you least need to worry about, because they make their intentions known immediately. Keep that in mind if you want to research further. Next, if you think of calling upon these demons, just know what you need for a safe summoning experience. You will need things up to and including an intricately made summoning circle and protective triangle, enchanted ring, girdle made of lion's skin, scepter or sword, and last but not least, the blessing of God and the archangels, which, let's face it, you don't have. Even if you did have all those things, whatever you want to accomplish with their help, I'm sure you could do it yourself. Have a little more faith. I believe in you. Okay, let's finally talk about some demons. First up is Ose, one of the most immediately striking demons in the book and games. The 57th spirit is Oso, Ose or Voso. He is a great president, and appeareth like a leopard at first, but then, after a little time, he putteth on the shape of a man. His office is to make one cunning in the liberal sciences, and to give true answers of divine and secret things. Also, to change a man into any shape the exorcist pleaseth, so that he that is so changed will not think any other thing than that he is in verity that creature or thing he is changed into. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, and this is his seal. If summoned, this demon will endow the summoner an all-knowing mind for political science, philosophy, language, arts, and much more. Sounds pretty powerful alone, but on top of that, he will answer any question pertaining to the spiritual realm and shapeshift you completely to another being. Lord knows what you could do with that kind of power. While I can't think of any time King Solomon transformed into an animal, it does say that no one would have any idea if it were really you when you transformed, so there might be no documented time for him doing so. It was just that convincing. In Shin Megami Tensei, Ose is portrayed as a humanoid leopard hybrid with a green cape and wielding 2 swords. This is fairly accurate considering he appears first as a leopard and then as a man, so the artist just decided to depict him as both at the same time, and hopefully not just to pander to furries. He also appears as another demon called Ose Hallel, Hallel being another name ascribed to Lucifer. This is possibly because he has the power of transformation and ostensibly mind control, so he may appear to someone other than his summoner as an angel to fool them. In the mobile gacha SMT game, SMT DX2, Ose Hallel has a passage that reads as follows. Ose, who was once of the fallen, with his angelic power restored by God. He is ranked as one of the seraph, a type of angel placed as the highest in the 9 ranks of angel hierarchy by Pseudo-Dionysius the Areopagite. The fallen angel Ose is said to have the ability to make people believe that they are the king or pope, but only for an hour a day. One theory is that Ose is the corrupt version of Odin, after being incorporated into Christianity. While the part about his angelic status being restored by God is simply an aspect of the game and not any biblical source, it is interesting the theories of his ability to make people appear as if they were even the highest ranking member of the Catholic Church for a short time. Him being Odin is also an interesting theory, though I don't think there is much comparison between the two aside from their ability to shapeshift. Overall, an incredibly interesting demon with much more to it than one might initially think. Next is Decarabia, one with significantly less information on it, but still a fan favorite nonetheless. The 69th spirit is Decarabia. He appeareth in the form of a star in a pentacle, at first, but after, at the command of the exorcist, he putteth on the image of a man. His office is to discover the virtue of birds and precious stones, and to make the similitude of all kinds of birds to fly before the exorcist, singing and drinking as natural birds do. He governeth 30 legions of spirits, being himself a great marquis, and this is his seal, which is to be worn. This is one that doesn't seem to have much power in the demonic hierarchy, and if you're thinking that, well, you're thinking the same thing as me. How could a being that commands birds to sing and understands the value of gemstones govern 30 legions of spirits in the underworld? Well, that's why he's just so interesting to me. He is a star that turns into a man, that can appraise gemstones and have birds wake you up in the morning. Sounds nice, but not really worth the trouble of, summoning a demon from hell for. You could argue that understanding the value of gemstones is a valuable skill for a monarch to have, but none of the skills Decarabia bestows is something a subject of Solomon's kingdom couldn't do also, a gem cutter or an animal breeder. I guess Solomon was really scraping the bottom of the barrel to summon demonic helpers, since shortly after this 69th demon he stopped at 72. In Shin Megami Tensei, Decarabia appears in his pentacle form as a floating starfish creature with a single eye. He is consistently a mid or high level demon, except for SMT4 Apocalypse, which makes sense since he does govern legions of spirits, but his incredibly high magic stat betrays his lack of a really beneficial boon to any prospective demon summoners. You could do better as a real life summoner, but in-game he is a great addition to any party. Now for the first gender non-conforming demon, Gemori. He is a duke, strong and powerful, and appeareth in the form of a beautiful woman, with a duchess's crown tied about her waist and riding on a great camel. His office is to tell of all things, past, present, and to come, and of treasures rid and what they lie in, and to procure the love of women, both young and old. He governeth 26 legions of spirits, and his seal is this. This demon can be confusing since he is referred to as a man, but only ever appears as a woman. No shapeshifting trickery here, at least not stated explicitly, so what gives? Well, demons don't really work in the same way people do. They are not explicitly assigned a gender at birth. In fact, no spiritual creature is. I spoke about this topic in my videos covering the archangels as well as more thoroughly in my succubus video, but spiritual beings have no gender really. Some believe the archangel Gabriel is the only female archangel. Others believe he is a feminine man, and others still believe all archangels are genderless. Succubi and incubi are believed to have the ability to transform sexes to fit the proclivities of whoever they are seducing to produce offspring, since they have no ability to breed themselves, relying completely on humans. So in reality, Gemori could be a female, male, or even genderless demon. I personally believe this demon is referred to as a he simply because all demons in the book were. With that out of the way, Gemori's benefit to the summoner is incredibly powerful. Not only will you gain all but omniscience of all things past, present, and future, not only will you know of all treasures thought lost, you'll be able to completely control the emotions of all womankind on top of that, which for a king blessed by God you might not really need, but for your citizens it would be helpful to settle disputes if nothing else. Then again, King Solomon was known to have a lot of concubines, so let's not think about this anymore actually. This is the first demon covered I could see pretty much everyone wanting to summon, just for the sheer power being all-knowing would bring, and the treasure part isn't half bad either. There are some weirdos that would want to summon Gemori just for the whole female love control thing though, so maybe it's better to steer clear unless you want people to think you're a creep. In Shin Megami Tensei, Gemori appears just as they are described in the grimoire, as a beautiful woman riding a camel. Adorned with light blue robes and extravagant jewelry, it gives off an enchanting and disarming aura. But like I said before, you have to watch out for these demons the most. Make no mistake, Gemori leads 26 legions of spirits for a good reason. The power they wield is no joke. Overall, a great design for an incredibly interesting demon. Next up, this is my pick for the most interesting demon in the entire book. Paimon. A great king and very obedient unto Lucifer. He appeareth in the form of a man sitting upon a dromedary, with a crown most glorious upon his head. There goeth before him also a host of spirits, like men with trumpets and well-sounding cymbals and all other sorts of musical instruments. He hath a great voice, and roareth at his first coming, and his speech is such that the magician cannot well understand unless he can compel him. This spirit can teach all arts and sciences, and other secret things. He can discover unto thee what the earth is, and what holdeth it up in its waters, and what mind is, and where it is, or any other thing thou mayest desire to know. He giveth dignity, and confirmeth the same. He bindeth or maketh any man subject unto the magician if he so desire it. He giveth good familiars, and such as can teach all arts. He is to be observed toward the west. He is of the order of dominations. He hath under him 200 legions of spirits, and part of them are of the order of angels, and the other part of potentates. Now if thou callest this spirit Paimon alone, thou must make him some offering, and there will attend him 2 kings, called Labal and Abalim, and also other spirits who be of the order of potentates in his host, and 25 legions. And those spirits which be subject unto them are not always with them, unless the magician do compel them. His character is this, which must be worn as a layman before thee. That was definitely the longest of the descriptions we've discussed so far, and maybe even the longest of the entire grimoire, but one that struck me while reading it. This demon not only bestows omniscience like Gemori, understanding of all arts and sciences like Ose, but true understanding of the nature of the very world itself. Knowledge not meant for humans to know, like what the mind truly is, where it is, and what the earth is. Whatever that could mean, I don't know. No one does, and perhaps no one should. Paimon has a power stronger than both Ose and Gemori in making any and all bow down to the magician, and providing good familiars would also entail the complete subjugation of the animal kingdom as well. This demon also governs legions of spirits orders of magnitude higher than pretty much any other demon in the grimoire, up to and including the angels themselves. A potentate is another word for a king or monarch, which would imply he has those in positions of power even in the spiritual realm working directly under him, following him wherever he may go. Paimon is also one of the most difficult demons to summon in the grimoire, since when brought forth he doesn't appear alone, but with a whole host of spirits playing musical instruments and potentially blowing back the summoner from the protective magical circle right then and there. If you do manage to stay standing after that onslaught, then he will speak in a language you have no hope of understanding, and must command him to speak plainly with you. On top of that, you have to give him a gift, which God only knows what this demon would want as tribute, and can only look at him when facing west, or God only knows what will happen to you. The implication that Paimon has in his legion members of the angelic choir themselves is one we can only speculate on. Maybe they're there just to keep an eye on him. Maybe they're spies for Lucifer. Maybe they only appear as angels to the human eye. It's impossible to know for sure. Either way, this demon is incredibly powerful and would alone make the summoner nigh unstoppable with the sheer knowledge and influence one would have. Without magical protection, you would simply bend the knee to any who have the boon of Paimon, and with his help alone, the world could be yours. In Shin Megami Tensei, Paimon appears as a gold-skinned man riding a dark blue dromedary, similar to how he's described in the grimoire. He is adorned with a checkered cape and a crown unlike any I've seen before, almost looking like the skin of his fellow demons on top of his head and worn as leg and arm bracers. His body language betrays his power, as he is hunched over smiling in an almost quizzical demeanor. Paimon doesn't make many appearances in the Shin Megami Tensei games, having only appeared in Soul Hackers, the first Persona, and the lesser-known Demi Kids and Devil Children games. This is a real shame, since from learning more about him, he definitely deserves just as much, if not more, recognition than any other demon in the series. His power seemingly second only to Lucifer himself. My pick for the most interesting demon specific to this grimoire, and also my pick for potentially the most powerful perspective summon for any magician, but also the most dangerous. Well, that covers just a few of the demons written in the Ars Goetia or the Lesser Key of Solomon. Let me know which one was your favorite covered in the comments down below, and while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. There were 72 in the grimoire, so whittling it down to just a few of the most interesting was a Herculean task. But there is always the option of making a sequel video. Let me know if I should. Special thanks to Andre Vinicius da Silva Valens, Arctic Mirror, Kalos, Goose Kebab, He Serafo, Jeter Michelle, Just a Middleman, Matt M, Mohammed Katan, Not Catchy, Patty123, Stuart Ash, The Digital Dutchman, Video Gamer 75, Zeba Neba, and many more for supporting the channel on Patreon. If you'd like to support, check the link in the description below. Thanks for watching this Ancient Demon Roundup, and I'll see you in the next Tony for You. Have a good one.